Hello and welcome to the Spaghetti Junction podcast. My name is Bruce.
My name is Gareth.
We talk about things we just don't know where they're gonna
Where they
go.
gonna go? So, obviously, I was just saying to you that you're obviously not at your house sitting because you're right now you're frozen and you're
Oh dear.
not. That's fine. Super clear like me. Um, but yeah, and we were always having a chat about how sometimes I put out our postcard, oh, podcast postcard
Try again.
podcast episodes a little later than I should, but just bear with me, people. I'm not having the most exciting time in life right now. Just things at work, and it's just all mounting up a lot on me. So I'm just trying to keep focused.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, because it's just not so. But I am. So a quick little recap for me, and I don't think many other people know, but but with you, but I'll tell everybody. So I'm trying to get into studies of it's basically I can't give you the exact wording for it, but it's linked with the New Zealand healthcare, and it's linked to uh, addiction, sorry, mental health and addiction. That
Right.
field,
Yes.
and I'm trying to get into that now. I cannot start studying until I give them written proof signed by an organization that I'm actually going to be doing my hours with them. So they will not allow me to start studying. That's just how it works. First of all, it
Yeah.
was 100 hours. Now I'm being told by somebody from the university that's 200 hours. They
Yo.
want me to do 200 hours. And
Okay.
they said that that probably the only way of doing it is by finding a job in that industry to get those hours. So I'm like, well, I can't get something because they want you to have experience to do that
Yeah.
job. So
Yeah.
how am I going to find somewhere that will go? Now, fair enough, there are jobs available where they say, have this diploma or are willing to study towards it.
Mm.
Right now, though, the job market in New Zealand is actually is not as strong as it used to be. So there's more people applying for the same job. So what
Right.
I would be applying for says, I want to do this. This is my goal. I want to do this diploma. I want to work in this environment because it makes me super happy, which it will. Um,
Yeah.
I want to do it. And then there's 10 other people who've applied and they've all have the diploma.
Yeah.
And then probably will go for the person with a diploma.
Mm.
Um, So it's frustrating right now. It's a little bit hard right now because I'm not enjoying my job
Mm.
at all. I'm finding
Yeah.
it um, quite stifling to say the least. And because I don't want to get further in the environment in my job, they just don't like it because I don't
Yeah.
really like working there. So,
Mm.
anyways, it's just difficult for me
Okay.
right now. So I'm just
Yeah.
saying
So
that.
it's
Yeah,
it's an issue that so many people find themselves in. They they you need a job to get experience, but you don't get offered the job because you don't have experience. So it's like, what the hell
I
do you want then? It's like this
know.
vicious circle. It just goes
Mhm.
round and round. I'm like, yeah, what do you
Exactly.
want from me? You know? So,
That's exactly true. So I mean, it's like almost my only thinking is one, I need to make a banger of a cover letter, so they can go, oh, okay. And number two, with what I truly believe is that I think the only other way, or the way, is that if God makes it happen, because as you say, it's just a cycle. It's like back and
yeah,
forth. So,
pretty
so my
much.
heart is, and my prayers are, all right, God, I really want to get involved in this. I don't know how I'm going to get into it.
Yeah,
Can you know where I can be? Can you make a way just with one organization? I have a really good interview with them because I can go anywhere in the country. That's a great thing. I don't
yeah,
have anybody here to tie me down. And that
that's
doesn't
cool.
mean in a negative way. I just don't have anybody.
It's
And
an
I
advantage,
literally
definitely.
will, oh, very much so. Like literally, I would pack all my clothes up. I got two suitcases. I'll pack my desk and my TV
Yeah,
and go. That's it.
Yeah,
That's all I need.
that's very.
That's all I
Yeah.
need. Oh, and my Xbox, obviously. That's vitally important. Vitally important. Anything else? I'm
Is
okay
it
with
though?
food,
Is it?
food,
Is it
food,
though? Eh.
food, water, Xbox. I don't know. It's a difficult one. I won't lie. Yeah. So that's the gem, is that I can apply for everywhere in the country, which I hope
Okay.
will give me some form of an edge. And then the a lady, which I've been seeing once in a while, just linked with, funny enough, mental health, was saying to me that in that industry there's not a lot of men who are involved in that, so that should probably give me some form of I'm hoping, I'm praying, a little bit more of a chance than anything else.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It seems
so
like
after this, yes.
It seems like it's predominant worldwide that the whole area of psychology and mental health. It seems like the majority of people in those fields are women, not men. So and I think it's good. I think more. I think if especially if guys are struggling just as much, and I
Very much
think
so.
yeah, and I think for if you're a male counselor in that field, counseling other guys, especially, that's also a good thing, this kind of thing. So you never know, that might also be an advantage.
Yeah, and I think it's a misnomer that guys don't want to share their feelings. I think it's like a online persona that like which is on YouTube channels and
Mm,
other people. I don't know. We can say like those like motivational guys or whatever. A lot of it
mm.
is really good motivational stuff. Like what you watch or listen to. But a
Yes,
lot of it,
definitely.
and I don't know if it's with yours, and you can tell me if, but I think a
Mm,
lot of them don't really talk about just getting in touch with your emotions and talking about it and not being afraid to talk about it because it's not manly enough. And I don't know if there's enough out there that actually encourages guys to be real and say, you know what, yes, I'm having a bad time with this or a bad time with that, and not make it into, okay, you're feeling bad, but now you can use this to power out there and go for it. It's like, you know what I mean? That's how I see
yeah.
it.
No, I get you. I get you. I think no, guys definitely feel. Okay, let's just put that out there. We do feel. We do have emotions.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
um, I think I always find that I'm much more of the I lean towards the fact that if a guy needs to talk about issues that he has, that he specifically talks about it with another male counselor,
Mm.
and or
Exactly.
with or maybe not even counseling or going to therapy, but having one or two really trusted, close guy friends that he can
Mm.
confide in and say, look, guys, and they can maybe it's not sitting around having coffee, it's sort of talking while they're doing something,
Sure.
doing project, going to the shooting range, whatever. But like
Mm.
going, guys, listen, guys, I'm
And
I'm not
talking
doing
about
well,
things.
and
Yeah.
but around with your bros, kind of thing,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and
For sure.
and that that maybe is not talked about as much as they could be. And so yeah, so that's what I would lean to if I was, if a guy came to me and said, okay, listen, I'm struggling with this, or if I was struggling with something, I would,
Yeah. Yeah.
instead of going to a licensed therapist, I know that I've got a couple of male friends that I can go to, and we can sit and we
Sure.
can talk it out and stuff. And
Well,
to me, yeah, so that's my thoughts on the
no,
whole
for
thing.
sure. Absolutely. Now, I think the counselors there, like the counselor which I've been seeing once in a while, they're there if things are really difficult. They're there if you just know, you know what, I'm feeling like for me, for example, I was just in a bad place. I got to the point where I felt I was losing hope. And just to be able to talk to someone um, trained in understanding that side of things has
Yeah.
been very, very helpful. And what's also been helpful with that is that they give you options. So you talk about it, you talk about your feelings, and then you say, okay, how do we deal with this? X, Y, Z kind of thing. And
Yeah.
that is part of the counseling thing as well, as in just listening, and also kind of there's a thing which which is part of jobs at times when it's called lived in experience. So they'll take you if you have the diploma or you're going for it, but if they can see that you've had lived experience with mental health
Yes.
or with
Yes.
addiction, that's something that you cannot learn. That's something that you cannot get except if you've gone through it. And that's a big
Correct.
part of it as well, is you can sit down with somebody who has an addiction and you can say, you know what, I understand it because so do I. Or, or I'm struggling mentally, with like this problem and I don't know how to deal with this problem. And you'd be like, you know what, I actually have been dealing with that. I know how it
Yes.
feels. And
Yes.
when you have that connection, that also helps. But yes, I think there are times when you can just hang out with your bros, and there's also a time where the bro thing is great, but you just need to sit down with someone specifically and say, all right, how do I get through this? That's how I see. So absolutely agree with you. I think that's point A, and then if that needs more, then there's a point
Then
B
if
with
it's
the
if yeah, if it's
yeah,
a little bit more extreme.
yeah.
Tell me something. This person you sit down with, is it
Yeah.
male or female? Male or
No,
female counselor?
it's a female counselor.
Okay.
One of the reasons is that there's just not a lot of male counselors out there
Okay.
that see.
Well, there we go. Like we said, you see
So
that it is a predominantly
it is.
um, mm, yeah.
From what I
Well,
understand, I don't know what the percentage is, but yes, but it's been good
okay.
spending time with her and chatting, and the fact that I know what I want to study, which I haven't known for a big
Yeah.
portion of my life, just out of
Yeah.
my difficulty and my depressive stuff, whatever. It was like, okay, you're feeling this now. Where do you want to go with this? And the fact that we spoke
Yeah.
about it, the fact that I actually ended up talking to her from being down and depressed for a little while,
Mm,
that grew to a point where I know what I want to study, where there's a future.
mm, mm,
That in itself is amazing. So
yeah.
sometimes our difficult spots that are rough, somewhere in there, something positive can be gleaned out of it. That's what I believe.
Yeah, especially if you're talking to someone who is a little bit more objective. They're on the outside looking
Yes,
in.
yes,
We
exactly.
sometimes get so close to our problems, you can't see the forest for the trees.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
where you've got someone who's got that outside perspective, they'll see things that you maybe didn't notice, or
Hmm.
all that kind of thing. So no, it's
That's
cool. And
exactly what it is.
remember a good counselor. And this is what I learned from my mom, because my mom's a certified counselor and that. And
Oh, really? I didn't know. You
she
probably
yeah
told
she
me, but
remember
that's cool.
she worked for
Oh,
Telefriend, and
she did. I remember she
working
did that. Yes,
working the phones and stuff. A good counselor is first and foremost a really good listener,
correct,
and
correct.
can let because so many people just want to talk and
Yeah,
vent
yeah,
their feelings and whatever. And if you can sit and if you can provide an environment where you're not judging them and you're letting them just speak,
hmm
that's a lot of times that's almost all the therapy they need, is to just get those words out and have someone listen to them. You know, not maybe leave there not even getting advice, but still feeling better because they were able to just talk to
That's
someone.
exactly what I think.
You know,
I agree with you. So, as you say,
yeah,
sometimes people just because it's very difficult, and I'm speaking from experience. It's very difficult when you're going through something and you don't have anybody to talk to. And just the fact when you do find someone you can just sit down and talk to, a lot of that energy and that negativity is just like, oh, okay, that was good.
yeah,
Now that I've spoken
yeah,
about it, how I feel, where do I want to go from there? Yeah.
yeah, correct. Yeah.
Geez, I
Well,
feel that we could do a whole long podcast on this.
maybe we should.
Don't know where it goes. Yeah. Well, anyways, that's 15 minutes of my life or our lives. But yes, I do agree with you. I guess also for another top, another another day. But you know, the self-help gurus and whatever, you know, the ones which you'll listen to. I guess the one is like a. I mean, I know you don't with him because I don't either, but I can think of like and Adam Tate kind of persona. His kind of
Andrew
thing
Tate.
is Andrew Tate. Sorry, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of vibe is like, you know, if you're feeling down, get up, take a run, you know, smack a punching bag, you'll be fine.
David Goggins.
David Goggins, there we go. And it's like, well, it's good, but part of it doesn't teach you it's okay to have those emotions, and it's okay to talk about them if you need to. Otherwise,
Yes, yeah,
it's all about it's like Andrew Tate will never use the word depression. He doesn't believe in depression. He doesn't believe in the word, and that's
correct.
half.
Yes,
He doesn't believe in it. It's so funny. It's like, no, I don't believe in depression. Well, it happens, and even if you don't believe it, people that you're talking to on your channel, young guys, are now being taught, okay, you're feeling crap. No, I'm not depressed because there's no such thing as depression. So I don't know how I'm feeling. I'm feeling really crappy. I want to die, but I'm not depressed because Andrew Tate says there's no word is depressed. So what the fuck am I doing? You know what I mean? It's highly confusing.
yeah. There's
Anyway.
that self help, that male self help sphere. There's a lot of good stuff, and
There is.
there's
I agree with you.
a lot of bad stuff, and you've got to
Yeah.
you've really got to suss it out, and you've got to
Yeah.
you got to pick. Basically, you've got to pick your guru.
Pick your guru pedals. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah.
Very, very,
So
very true.
anyway,
Yeah. Exactly. Like I say, we could. Oh, I feel like we should just talk about this, but
no, I'd rather go back and do some research. There's too much that I probably won't think
okay,
about.
fine. Okay, fine. Let's. It's. I mean, we're like already almost like halfway through the episode.
Well, we can have a bit of a chat about what we were actually going to talk
Okay,
about.
fine. Okay, fine. But let's try and. How about we do this discussion, put it on hold, and do it more in depth next week.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Cool.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
okay.
we have our topic for next. We have our topic for next week. Well,
and we have kind of like precursored it. So if you do want to know what's going to happen next Friday, listen again to this first 17 odd minutes, and you'll know what's going on. It doesn't normally last us our beginning on 17 minutes, but you know, it's real conversation that I hope people like.
Yeah.
Just being real.
Yeah.
All right, Bruce. Let's move on to the different part of a topic and see where it goes.
Yeah. So we're having a bit of a chat now today about what we could say is maybe another sort of escalation of the entire conflict between Israel and the whole Israel-Palestine situation. Israel fighting both Hezbollah and Hamas, and now with the most recent escalations of Iran now throwing its hat in the ring because of things that Israel have now done. So it's just if someone doesn't back down, we're going to see. It's a conflict at the moment, but so many people are thinking talking about it becoming just full-scale war in the Middle East. Because so we had, and this all stems from what happened on October the 7th. I think just like it seemed like a bit of a catalyst to sort of take the whole conflict a little bit higher. But we know that this conflict has been happening hundreds of years. So that's where we are at the moment. One side hits, then the other side hits back. One side hits, the other side hits back, and it just seems to escalate. And who suffers? The innocent people on both sides. So yeah, that's where we're at. But Gareth has some particular thoughts as well.
No, well,
Yeah.
mine's different.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, okay. So I guess we can jump into first the whole thing of the war obviously going on between Israel and Palestine. And it's
Yeah.
interesting how there's a huge thing going on there. And then as it's slowly getting away from the from the uh, news focus, now all of a sudden something else pops up against Israel. Um, and what's sad with war, we can even look at the Ukraine war.
Yeah.
That people, I wouldn't say people get bored, but the news industries, the news organizations, papers and media and the whole thing, they'll jump onto what is the latest news.
Yeah.
So like all the atrocities of what happened between Israel and Palestine, both sides have
Mm.
atrocities, believe it
Yeah.
or not. Now that's gone quieter, and now all of a sudden, as you say, Iran has thrown its whatever shaped hat they wear in the army. They've now thrown that. Have you worked out why the heck that even began? Because I don't. I'm trying to
Okay.
remember, for example, like who shot the first bullet. I'll chat more about later on about my feelings that are more about what I believe is like a blind faith sometimes by
Mm.
Christianity with
Yeah.
Israel, but we can get to that near the end. It's fine.
Okay. So basically, what really ramped things up, I think it was last week, and like it or hate it, it was pretty impressive where Israel basically attacked Hezbollah by it sounds like something out of a movie, but with these pages and walkie talkies exploding and targeting Hezbollah members. Did you hear about that?
Say that again. They use pages and walkie talkies.
Yeah. So something.
Okay. How did that happen?
Um, you know what? We still don't know. But what happened was there was a coordinated attack where they somehow gained access to pages and walkie-talkies that were ordered by Hezbollah for
Okay.
communication purposes because they wanted to stay away from smartphones because they're too
Which
easily
makes
hacked,
sense.
right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
they
yeah.
thought, okay, cool, let's go old school. Let's use pages. Let's use walkie-talkies.
Yeah,
flipping 1980s technology,
yeah.
and somehow small amounts of explosives were placed
No
inside
shit.
these inside these devices. These devices were then sent on to they were it was so it seems like an order of these were intercepted, and then just like something out of a movie,
No
small
ways.
amounts of explosive were put in, and then at a particular time a signal was sent to those devices that caused them to explode. And
And they killed
there
people or what?
was there yeah nine people were killed, but over 3,000 were injured because obviously it's an
What?
explosion. Now, it's not a big explosion, but it's still an explosion. And you did
3,000
see,
people.
yeah, but I'm talking that was injury. So I'm not talking, maybe the guy got a little splint in his face or something like that. That
Yeah,
could
yeah,
be classed as an injury.
yeah, yeah, for
So
sure,
we
for
don't,
sure.
but it was a serious, quite a serious attack because it was this properly coordinated thing. And you saw some of the security footage of some of these things going off, like the guy's wearing a pager and it suddenly explodes on his side and takes him out. You know,
You know what it makes me
um,
think of? It's a game called Watch Dogs, and
right,
part of it does exactly the same thing, where where you would, for example, go to a hostile site, and you have the ability to hack into anything mechanical, anything
right,
electronic.
right,
And the same thing would happen. You could actually set off one of their devices on their phone. I mean, on
yeah,
their phone or whatever it is, and they could make it
yeah.
explode. Now, bear in mind, that's a game, but this is
Mm.
so similar. It's crazy.
Yeah. The thing is, yeah. So the thing is, you can't just send a signal to a normal device to make that happen. So that device would have had to have been tampered with. Something would have
Gotcha.
been
Gotcha.
something would have been placed inside. Look, you know what? Support Israel, don't support Israel. You've got to admit that was impressive. But the thing is, as well, this is sorry. I must actually just clarify.
Yeah.
It also doesn't seem like Israel has officially taken responsibility for that. So it might not have been Israel, but a lot of people are saying, "Oh, yeah, it's Israel," because I mean the conflict, blah blah blah. It had to have been. But we don't. So there are so many facts that we still don't know, and this is the problem with our age of technology. There's so much information we still don't know what is right and what is wrong. So much fake news, but this is the fact that this has happened.
Fake news, yeah.
But so that was pretty impressive. And then the other, yeah, whether it was Israel or not, that's like whoa, that's next level.
But now, wasn't that linked with the head, the like leader of the organization? He died in that, didn't he?
No, he didn't. That was a separate missile attack,
separate.
And they were able to pinpoint where a whole bunch of these Hezbollah leaders were going to be at one time, and this was Hassan Nasrallah. He was the main leader, and he was also killed in that attack. So Hezbollah's main leader. So obviously, you take out the main leader of an organization, it's going to get thrown into a bit of chaos. So
and then they'll make somebody else. But the fact, though, it just with like all with like both of those attacks, it shows how fickle people can be. Meaning, if you were a part of Hezbollah. Hezbollah, and then all of a sudden there's news trickling out of, because that news about that meeting with all the leaders would have come from somebody inside. So the question is, how do you find somehow the Israeli, and it happens in every war, somehow the one side finds somebody in like woven deep into that organization who will then spill the beans and say, hey, next Tuesday at this site, this address, all these leaders are going to be there. Either they've been planted there, or they somehow have found somebody that they could twist and make them talk. So it shows the as strong as you may think your organization is, there's always going to be somebody looking for a quick buck, or who has something against them that can be used against them, or is planted.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
That's
and then and now obviously the most recent attack is that Iran, Hezbollah and Iran are closely allied. So now, in retaliation for Hassan Nasrallah being killed, Iran sent in over 200 hypersonic ballistic missiles into Israel. Yeah. So, and what happened was they specifically targeted a lot of military facilities.
That makes sense.
So, the Iron Dome was not effective in taking out a lot of those missiles.
Is the Iron Dome that one that's basically on the border, that's there to basically take down any form of attack from outside the country?
Yeah, it's the Israeli missile system that they have that enables them in certain aspects to shoot down a lot of rockets that have been sent over by Hamas from Gaza and that kind of thing. However, a hypersonic ballistic missile cannot be shot down, no matter what the movies tell you.
What is it?
Those are the ballistic missiles that actually go out of the Earth's atmosphere and then come back down.
No shit. Okay.
So the chances of them shooting those down, yes, a couple got hit by the Iron Dome missiles. You actually saw the footage, but most of those missiles came down through, and we saw all the footage of these these missiles just raining down and taking out, just explosion after explosion after explosion. It proved that yes, the Iron Dome is effective in some ways, but not in others, and also that what the reports though are that there weren't any there weren't any casualties from those, which I
Really,
don't
from
think
all of
is
those?
which I don't think is true. So this is the problem. We're getting the reports from the right, and then we get confirmed from
Oh,
and then we get
exactly.
from the left. So you don't know. But you can't. I think they knew that if they sent through enough missiles, that they would just that whole defense system would not be able to cope. That's probably why they did it.
Can I post? I just want to post. It's like a really short video of those missiles coming down. Just give me a chance here, and I'm just gonna send this. It's like literally about 20 seconds. No lie.
Yeah.
It's nearly a minute, but I probably won't play it all. Just in the sky there. And the noise. So I would imagine that the lighted ones are from their defense system, I guess.
Probably, yeah.
Look out above us.
It's coming down.
Now, these are the ones coming down.
Yeah.
They look like shooting stars.
Yeah.
But obviously not the same impact, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh, there goes the noises. No way, look at that. And you're saying that nobody was injured in this?
According to certain reports.
200 missiles. There's no ways.
Yeah, exactly. So this is what, so they're calling it like a miracle and stuff like that. But you just don't know what news is true.
No.
And and trust me, if they're hitting military facilities,
there are going to be people in there.
There are soldiers there. Okay, they're
exactly.
So so this is what we've got to be so careful about.
I think it's because one side, for example, Israel, doesn't want to come across like they actually got hit. It's like, no, you didn't hit us. You just hit some buildings, raw kind of thing. It's like, no, there's no way. There's no way at all. If you're hitting buildings, that at least one person hasn't been injured and died.
And then the problem is, you've got the United States, who is backing that with, the whole thing of, because the United States is very much behind Israel in this whole conflict. They're allied with Israel. So they will obviously double down on that narrative as well.
Oh yeah, of course. But I was going to say it's obviously that they're not involved with them just because they like them. They're involved with them because of what they can get back from them. It's obviously about that. There's no but buddies involved in this. It's not sure. For example, with Ukraine, there were countries that that just jumped in and helped. But with this thing in America, it's almost anywhere where they're placed, there's always a scratching backs kind of thing.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. That's politics. That's how countries ally with each other. That's what can we listen? If you help us do this, then we can help you do this.
Oh no, I know it's not a friendship based thing.
No, definitely not. Everyone's in it for themselves, and
But like I say, it shows a weakness if you report that yes, that they managed to kill X amount of people.
Yeah, exactly. So and you get conflicting reports from from the Israeli side, like only so many missiles came through and it wasn't actually bad. But then you get Iran reporting that 80% of their missiles actually struck and only 20% were ineffective. So you're going to get those. Each country's obviously going to say what benefits them.
But
then you get all of us who aren't even involved, and we get polarized.
No.
So
when we talk about war, the thing I will always say is that nobody, at the end of it all, nobody actually wins. There's death
No.
on both sides. There's tragedy on both sides.
Yes, absolutely.
Like they haven't won each other's piece of land. Iran's not going to own a section of Israel. Israel's not going to own a section of Iran.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, nobody wins.
Yeah. It's going to be, the people are now speculating. It is going to be very interesting what happens now, because obviously Israel is going to retaliate
For sure.
because of this, and um, they the thing is like they're speculating on how much Israel is going to retaliate. Do they launch something small scale just to say, listen, we're answering this,
See you. Yeah.
or do they escalate it even further and really hit, and that could be a problem, because I think I've got a feeling Iran is a little bit of a sleeping giant, and if
Oh yeah.
it gets
I agree with you. Yeah.
awakened, they are
I
not,
agree with you.
because remember they're aligned with Hezbollah, and Hezbollah's one of the main ideology of Hezbollah is literally the destruction of Israel. So if they align with that and they really hammer it down, Israel's going to get a fright. So
But now part of the problem is if that's now taking the focus of Israel, would that not open an opportunity for Hamas to go, okay, well, they're focusing more now on Iran. I just think it's a very scary situation. It's not just
it
about those
is
countries. It's like how it's going to impact the world. And
absolutely
unfortunately for Israel, they're caught between two countries, between two different wars at the same time.
enemies on two fronts,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then also, Israel have put, made attacks on Lebanon as well, and now Putin's allied with Lebanon, and he's telling Israel, get out, or we'll throw our hat in the ring as well. So then you got Russia flipping getting involved,
Yeah.
and a full-scale war. The one of the biggest concerns about a full-scale war in the Middle East is what it's going to do to oil lines to the Western world. That's a very big concern, and that's why America doesn't want. A lot of people are saying that America is going to try and avoid full-scale conflict because of the oil factor as well. Let's face it, the world runs on oil, and if those lines are cut because of conflict, it's going to affect you in New Zealand. It's going to affect me in South Africa. It's going to affect everybody because of those oil reserves. So that's also a big issue. So,
but now that came across as a big issue. I don't know if it was oil, but a big thing when the Ukraine war happened. I think it was oil, also linked. I can't remember what.
I think it was more gas.
Okay,
yeah.
So that war has gone on for so long, and that concern hasn't. I mean, it's affected the world, but not to the extent that
it
was
hasn't.
going to be. So it almost throws up like something will happen, but how big is the problem really going to be?
Yeah. So yeah, we'll have to see. I think the next thing we're waiting for is now how is Israel going to answer this Iranian attack? So we wait with bated breath, basically.
Yeah, I mean, some people have said you basically reap what you sow with Israel, meaning that what they did to Palestine, you reap what you sow, and now it's coming across from another border into Israel. Obviously, I mean, that's I mean, you can't really prove it. Obviously, that's not going to happen. But that's the word they used was karma. What you reap, you will sow. And again, it's not really, that's not really why it happened, but it's just interesting how they've dealt, or they believe that they dealt with one issue, and then all of a sudden, around a similar time, Now there's another section coming up with them. And this is going to be for a whole nother discussion because we were pretty much out of time. But that's the thing I was going to bring in, which we can do another day. It's fine. Was
You can go for a few minutes on that.
On that, no, mine will take a lot longer than a few minutes. I have more energy and passion that'll last more than 2 or 3 minutes. So let's just rather leave it there. But it's
right.
But yeah, I mean, Israel has been in wars with certain places for, I think, not all the time, but almost from time immemorial kind of thing. And it seems to be a pattern. But anyway, that'll be a longer chat. Yeah, we'll definitely see what happens. I don't know. I think that all these attacks and wars that were going to be like, like the end of the world, Armageddon, I don't think these are these. I don't think these are these. I mean, Armageddon was
Not
happening
yet.
down in the States. Where were those storms? It was terrible.
There's been a hurricane in North
Florida.
Carolina. Apparently, I haven't.
Yes.
I haven't. Look, I have. That's something else. I haven't looked in. I haven't looked into that. I just started hearing smatterings on my news feeds.
No, it's bad.
But,
it's very, very bad. A very interesting video, if anybody wants to watch it. It's a guy called Tifu. Now you may not, you won't know who he is. Tifu was originally a gamer. He streamed all the time.
Right.
And he lives out there, and he does a very informative, like in-depth, like look, because like that's where he lives, and just shows the devastation of what happened and the impact. Okay. And it's now obviously what a YouTuber will do when the storms are coming. They went surfing, and they realized, oh crap, there's floods coming. Yeah, they went surfing in the middle of that weather. Oh, so that's the first half. Don't judge him on that. Well, you know what? He's a kid. But past that part of them surfing, it's actually very interesting, and you actually get to see how intense it was. It has died down, but the damage and the lack and the loss of life and the lack of infrastructure, water, electricity, it's going to be with them for a very, very long time. So that's almost like someone said, oh, the end of the world is coming. Maybe it's already here and we just don't know yet. Anyways, who knows? But I do not think this whole thing with Iran and Israel is going to cause another third world war, because Ukraine didn't, Palestine didn't. I think these two, compared to what happened in Palestine, I feel that this is more like a school bully fight going on than an actual full tilted fight. I may be wrong though. And I hope that I'm, that it is just a smaller interaction than what happened in Palestine. We'll see what happens, I guess. But the question is why, and I guess the question that will pop us, why is Israel so much? I mean, like, why is Israel again involved in something? And that I would love to talk about sometime.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Will this conflict
see what happens,
get resolved? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, there will be wars all over the world at one time.
It's human nature. It really is.
So, people want what they can't get.
Yeah,
or they just. So originally, when you didn't like each other, you would grab a club or something, and or you would use bows and arrows. And now it's just like you push a button and missiles go flying over. So it's almost like you have less guilt when you push that button than if you were actually on the war field, like a World War I, World War II.
Well, yeah, correct.
Now it's becoming way too much easier to cause distraction and to have a war where actually physically you're not on the ground.
Yeah. And remember what they've said. I think I did say this to you, that if nuclear war was ever to happen, 72 minutes. That's pretty much the timeline of a nuclear war. 72 minutes and it'll be over. From the first missile to get fired from whatever country, 72 minutes.
The end of the world.
Your northern hemisphere is decimated. See ya, goodbye, end of the world.
72 minutes.
Go and look for a book called Nuclear War: A Scenario by Annie
Yeah.
Jacobson.
Okay.
And she outlines the entire timeline, and it is fascinating. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I've listened to the audiobook. It's pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
she's a very cool author. So.
Hopefully I won't have to test that out.
Yeah, no, it's not.
All right. That is the show, people. Thank you for lasting, longing, and going back and forth with us.
This has been the Spaghetti Junction podcast. Please like, comment,
people.
subscribe, share, hit that notification bell, which is something I don't say very often.
But do it. And thank you for the people who are with us every week. We do appreciate you.
Yeah.
And by the way,
catch you guys in the next one.
You will almost. Jamie is in Auckland right now. Well, not as in right now when this recording goes out, but right now as we're recording it, he's in Auckland.
Oh.
And I said to him, "Hey, buddy, let me know when you're there so we can catch up." I haven't heard anything yet, so maybe he'll say something on Saturday. Maybe he thinks that I work on a Friday, but hopefully I get to see him.
Dude, flipping now, man. I'm trying my best
to say, "Hey, buddy, I wouldn't have seen him for like 20, 30 years or something stupid, eh? 20 years?
Him and I, we chat sort of briefly every now and on Instagram.
Oh, do you? Okay. We've never been in touch.
Yeah, no, see what you can do, man.
Well, all right. People, have a good day, night, whatever you're doing,
awesome,
and we'll catch you in the next one.
Cool, guys.
See you later.